Hi everyone, bonjour à toutes. Welcome to Mom's Hot Method, redefining hotness by the mother's gaze, making motherhood the growth hack experience you were looking for. So we're here in the first chapter of actually building a family. How do you couple? How do you look for a dad who is also going to be an amazing husband and a great lover and your best friend? I actually want to know how you met your husband, Ricky.
It's a nice story. I met him through our best friends, and it was such a lovely way of meeting each other. They were together at the time. We started dating. We did a lot of fun stuff together, the four of us. And then now it's been 10 years we've been together.
Amazing.
Yeah. How
So-
about you?
I was about to say, very usually in this podcast, you're going to hear a story and then the polar opposite. So I met my husband actually only 4 years ago, and we met on an app.
Oh, fun. Which one?
We met on JSwap, which is a Jewish dating app. I just came out of the most awful breakup 4 years. When there's a guy who has a very is panicked of committing. So, after 4 years and getting no actual proof that he was in the relationship to build a family and to actually have kids and so on, we end up breaking up and I moved to London. And at the time I was reading Dr. Tara Swartz, an amazing neuroscientist who explained scientifically the law of attraction, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna cry. I'm 27. I'm having, I have a job that I love. I'm healthy. I'm gonna manifest my husband, and I'm gonna create a abundance mentality. So I dated every night, back to back. I had a spreadsheet of drink at 6 and then 8 and then 9. But Zach was the first one.
Oh, first and best one.
First and best. But then I was like, really, am I gonna come out of a broken engagement and then straight away? Because you hear a lot of actually, my brother say, oh, but you can't stay alone.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, does he have a point? Can I not stay alone? And it's like, fuck it, I can't, but I can. But also, I don't want to. So I gave my husband a chance, even though he was the first guy after basically what was my almost first boyfriend. And I was like, I never looked back before because I really sort of picked that one specifically for the right reasons. When did you know your husband was going to be your husband?
Oof, it's a tricky thing. I think I was so young when we met, so I don't think I kind of went into the relationship.
How old were you when you met your husband?
21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he your first?
No, I was that girl who kind of I moved to London when I was 19. I was partying and doing all of this fun stuff, which I'm so happy about. I did before I met him, and then he was something very different from what I've met before, and I think he accepted the true me in a different way, which I hadn't seen in any other man before. So yeah, but I think when I met him as a 21-year-old, I didn't expect, or I didn't have in my thoughts that this is maybe gonna last forever. But it just when you're 21, you're so young, right?
Yeah, you are. And also, I feel like nowadays, there's a big belief that, your 20s to have fun. But what if I always think, I wish I met my husband when I was 19, 20, 21, 22. I think when you met your soulmate, it is the best feeling in the world.
It's so good. And we have had so much time to have fun together before we had kids. We had our first child after being together for 7-8 years, and I think it's been amazing to just have being young together. I think that's really fun.
Yeah, and nothing is perfect, and I don't feel like my husband and I had that, but nothing is perfect, but you can make it perfect. We met, that was 32 and I was 27, so now
It's also a good age because you know more maybe what you want.
But the thing is, I also don't try and see things. This is us. That is it. So I also want to have fun with my husband because I was 27 and I also really wanted to have kids. We had kids like 3 years after we got married, and everything was fast paced. But that's the thing. If you're a bit like, if you meet later in life, everything goes quicker.
Yeah.
But then it's your duty to have fun as a couple, as a married couple, and maybe even a little bit more, maybe, that if you had your whole 20s together. But basically, the bottom line is you make your rules. And I also think that, there's no right and wrong. You should not listen to anyone else at your heart and your brain, of course.
For sure.
Super
I think it's
important.
best to follow your heart, and also to, like, as a couple, to have fun together. Like, he's my best friend. We have so much fun together, even now after 2 kids. And I think that's maybe, as you've always said also, like, your husband needs to be your best friend, which I think both of our husbands are.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, Zach set up the whole, podcast. And I think, a friend of mine was like in her 50s and has like 3 kids. She said, I know why I chose my husband. And she said, I wanted my husband to be my best friend and my best lover.
Yeah.
It comes
Love
down to
that.
this. That's it.
Yeah.
Look for no more. If the guy is your best friend and he's also your best lover, then honestly, you don't need much more. Because the thing is, when the guy is your best friend, everything in motherhood becomes simpler because someone who's your best friend doesn't want you to struggle. So if you're working, he gets extra help. He helps you with anything that you put your mind on. And whether it's a podcast, whether it's creating content, whether it's creating your company, he also wants you to be the best version of yourself.
For sure. And I think also, like, being a team together is so important as well. Like, as you say, if it's parenting or a business, or like, you have to be a team as a couple to function.
Definitely. And being a team that also doesn't try and change the other person.
Yeah. Love each other for who they are, I think.
And it's actually really hard. I feel like that's probably, Zach and I have been now married for 3 years, and we hit these 3 years sort of like shaky part where I realized that, you accept your husband for who he is, but you always want your husband to change a little bit, Don't you? Like, maybe not you. I definitely.
Sure, like, I don't know. They are men. They are different than us.
They really are. And the thing is, I've read this amazing book called Let Them, and it changed my perspective on my relationship with my husband. I let him. I was trying to, get him to do yoga, to like do Pilates, because I care for him and I love him and I want him to be around as long as possible.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to. And so I stopped. I let him, and now he booked.
Yeah.
He
But
booked
it's
his own
nice to
class.
have those things for ourselves. Like, I love kind of that. I have the Pilates for myself and the running, and that it's not something you don't need to do everything together.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I didn't want to do it with him. I just wanted him to like prioritize his body, because he really never does. He's really like, he works 6 days a week, and then he doesn't prioritize his body, and I think you have to. But I think you can't make people want to have agency. If you force an adult to do something, and if you force your husband to do something, he's gonna resent you, even if you have a point that he needs to eat healthy. And I totally agree. By all means, being a girl, being a teenager means you want to be always with your boyfriend. You don't want to be always with your husband. Being a woman means that you can be independent.
yeah,
And it's so important.
for sure.
In a marriage, being independent is everything.
And have things to do for yourself. I think also when you become a mother as well, like, prioritize just like reading a book. Not that I do a lot of that, but like, do a Pilates, do some meditation. I don't know, like, just do a few things just for your own, like, have a coffee by yourself. It's just like prioritizing us as well is important, I think.
I think it's extremely important.
And I think our husbands need to do that as well, not only working.
Yeah, true. But I think like maybe that's what I think husbands who work a lot, they find loneliness, like their me time in the office. I think when I'm in the office, I'm like, bam, bam, bam. I'm there to like stand as little as possible so I get everything done because I miss my kids. My husband is sheltered in the office. He loves that it's peace and quiet. But yeah, I think
Like, thrive, so yeah.
yeah, but the thing is, you can thrive in 4 hours or 8. I want to thrive in 4 hours, so then I have 4 hours with my kids.
Yeah.
I think men are happy as well to be in the office. It's their comfort zone and everybody's catering for them and whatever. I also think, when you don't spend enough time with yourself, and sometimes as a mom also with yourself without the kids, you have to ask yourself why. Lately, I had to go without my kid to Paris because I was going with a girlfriend who was freezing her eggs, and I was like, I'm not gonna take my newborn and being deaf tuned to like whatever struggle people have. So I went and I started crying. I was in a Eurostar going to Paris, and I started crying because I felt like I lost my identity, an organ or something, and I was like, what is it, Matt? What are those kids keeping you so busy that sometimes, what is it? Like
the same I told you as well, like when I was at a meeting and I suddenly got like so anxious that I was away from Carla when she's this. And I think also when with the second one, you more naturally need to be away from them because you have to also prioritize the first one. And then as we do like work at the same time, so it's like very, for me, the second time has been very different because with my first one, I was a lot more with her all the time, but now you have to split up your time as well, which makes it, suddenly you get like this anxious, even when she sleeps, sometimes I'm like, oh, this is so strange.
Yeah, I mean, it is strange how also sometimes, like these things that you think and you don't, and motherhood is this like permanent like learning curve as well.
Yeah. And I think we all experience it so differently, which I think is beautiful with it as well. Like, I don't think everyone has the same feelings as we have, and we don't have the same feelings about it. Like, it's just your own experience, which I really love about it because everyone's is different. And
I agree, and I think that's probably also like to conclude in this chapter. I think following your heart, accepting that that's also something that I really try and pass on to my team, because they're all girls and in a few years they'll probably want to have kids. Do you listen to who you are, find a solution that works in your marriage, find a solution that works for your kids. And I think sadly a lot of women feel guilt because they're like, oh, but I saw on Instagram that there was a need for a routine. And then I saw that this, and then my mother-in-law said this, and then my mother said that. And girls, women, we want to be so perfect, sometimes so good that we like forget to listen and tune in with ourselves. And most importantly, we forget the baby leading like method, which to me, I read about it when I was pregnant. I was like, this is what I want to do because it makes sense to me. I'm going to look at my babies and I'm going to be like, I'm going to cater for them.
Yeah. And I think you also, as you say, you have to kind of get to know your baby and then suit what's most suitable. Not all babies can do routines. Not all babies can like breastfeed. Like you have to, every baby is different as we are as humans. So as a mother, you kind of need to get to know your baby before you decide like, I'm going to do a routine or not. And just do what makes the baby happy, I think.
Yeah, while making you as comfortable as possible.
Yeah. And making it easy for yourself.
And definitely the number one decision that will make motherhood easy for you is finding the right husband. Definitely. As we're closing this first chapter of the method, we want to speak to you about 3 things that made us feel hotter this week. And by hotter, we mean more confident, more empowered, and a better mom and girlfriend and woman to ourselves. I'll maybe start by asking you, Ricky, what did make you feel hotter this week?
I would say date night with my husband.
Always a good one.
Yeah, weekly, I must say my weekly reformer. And product-wise, I would say my Rhode lip liner. It's so good. And
it is so funny.
I wear it like even when I'm in the morning, when I'm just like going out for dropping my daughter off to nursery or whatever.
Truly?
Like,
I'm still not a lip liner girl. I want to try it.
Yeah, I'm going to get one for you.
Is it like, do you just like use this on top? Like
because it's like
it
smushes it out so it doesn't look like a proper liner. And I have so small lips, so I'm addicted to lip liner.
Super nice. Well, what made me feel hotter this week is actually sleeping better. I think I'm the only like So important. It's the basis. Like food, good water, and like sleeping. And I'm probably the only mom with two kids almost under two that doesn't sleep. And it's not because of the kids. The kids sleep so well. I was in Paris and I got this valériane, which is like you find it in any pharmacy in Paris. And if you know Paris, you know there's as many pharmacies that there is like Starbucks in America. So yeah, this is really, that helped me so much. This
Let's try it.
it is really, really good. Obviously for mom, not for the kids. It just calms you and make you sleep well, but doesn't
it's
make
natural,
you
right?
fully
Herbal.
natural. Herbal valerian is a plant, and it's just like when you have something that helps you sleep. Normally, it makes you a bit groggy in the morning. Have you ever heard that the gummies from the Kardashian ones, like
I
the
haven't tried
magnesium,
them. Yeah.
makes you super groggy in the morning? So this one is really good, valerian. And then the second thing that make me feel hotter is, well, still on the theme of like sleeping better. I'm stopping coffee after 9 a.m., which is such a pain, but I have to do it. It's about discipline. And I changed to matcha. And because I like killing a couple of birds with one stone, I'm doing matcha collagen. And I find it so
I
smart.
want to try those.
Yeah, I'll get
I
you
love matcha.
some. But yeah, this matcha collagen really, they taste good. They're not hard to make because the
So
problem
they
is
have
collagen inside.
inside the matcha.
And the right grammage, because that's the
Oh.
problem. It's
So
a
you just
collagen
mix
branch
it with
first.
water or milk.
Hot water and milk.
Amazing.
And I think it's and one last thing we want to share is one hot mom that made us hotter. And I'm gonna start with my encounter of the week, and it's Mel Wilson,
Okay.
the writer of Let Them. I must say, it's not exactly this week, it's like 10 days ago, but who cares? She changed my life. She's basically explaining how stop controlling other people. It's basically stoicism, but applied to your daily life. Let them.
Yeah.
If someone is, like getting in your way by, I don't know, like, if someone in like any situation when you have someone that is annoying or does not even annoying, but does something that you feel, it's not the way you would do it.
Yeah.
Let them. And then that's the other part. Let me.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm going to
me
let
do
you be.
my way. Yeah.
And I found it so helpful, and I use it every day. And I've heard that actually,
Should be let them let me.
let them let me. Exactly. Apparently, a lot of people attach to this because it changes your life. It's detachment theory. It's like, okay, it works with your husband, it works with your kids in a certain measure,
Yeah.
and it works with your girlfriends. It makes everything easier. So yeah, I would say, let them make you hotter as a mom.
Good mom hack.
And that's it for today. And thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. Our love language is to share good tips with other good moms. So if you like it, share it with your mom friends or for the women in your life that might want to be moms and might need a tip or two.